Is he in the best position to win MVP this season?
Yes, because if we had to ask who has the best offensive line in football, you would sit there and say Philadelphia is absolutely in that conversation. Then who's got a scheme that absolutely is tailored to allow them to not fit but to thrive? It would be Jalen Hurts. Who's got one of the best tight ends in football? Jalen Hurts. Who's got a dynamic tailback room? Jalen Hurts. Who's got one of the best one-on-one wide receivers in football and a budding young star in Devontae Smith? So A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. And you have a guy that we have never seen him. And this is why, you get asked, like, what's your concern about? I got no concerns about Jalen Hurts, and nor will I ever doubt the young man again because I made that dumb mistake. We've never seen him not get better. We've never seen him we've never seen him plateau.
Yeah.
We've never seen him drop off. We've only seen this outrageous ascension. And for that, because of what's around him and because we have no data that tells me he's not going to improve, and the last time we saw him on the field, he was the best player in football, or he's the best player on the field that day, I say, he's in the best situation. Patrick's in a good one. Josh Allen is in a very good one. But I think Jalen is in the best situation to go win MVP.
He may have the best O-line, and maybe he has some good receivers. He doesn't have the best receiver room, right? That's still going to be Joe Burrow, who has the best wide receiver room, right, in the National Football League.
He's not the best. Me angry.
He's not the best quarterback in the NFL. The best quarterback in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes, right? It's still that guy. He doesn't have the best coach in the NFL, right? That's probably still Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Maybe that guy. So it's cute that you just named a bunch of best things that Jalen has, because there's a lot of other good quarterbacks in the league that have a whole lot of best things as well.
Okay.
Here's the thing that Jalen doesn't have. He no longer has the best schedule, Dan, because he had the easiest schedule in the entire NFL last season. The easiest in the entire NFL by win percentage.
Okay.
This season, this is an Eagles team with a first place schedule, a team that has to play the entire stacked AFC East, and a team that has to play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Let me pause for the call. Hold on here. Go ahead. Leave that schedule up.
Oh, and by the way, Jalen's the coordinator.
Leave the schedule up, because I think that's an advantage to Jalen Hurts. When you get an opportunity to play against the Jets, the Dolphins, the Cowboys,
an opportunity.
Because those are big games. So if he balls out, it's going to sway voters to want to vote for him for MVP.
So I think that's an advantage for Houston Texans, not playing Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, let me ask you this then, Amber. Who on that schedule do you sit there and say they're going to be the not favored in those games? They're going to
be the Eagles aren't going to be favored?
Yeah.
But except for the fact that, everyone's crowned the Jets already as Super Bowl champs, which I find to be ridiculous. But you did talk about that elite defense. Jalen is going to be up against that, right?
Yes.
The Dolphins, a very good team.
Okay.
The Cowboys, an elite defense.
Did you ever watch Saved by the Bell and Zach Morris would do the timeout? Timeout. So the Eagles have the hardest schedule this upcoming season based on last year's win percentage. And some of you are trying to say that's an advantage.
Which is crazy and lunacy, and
Harry's
trying to spin it.
Harry's point was, when it comes to MVP consideration, that it's going to be an advantage for Jalen Hurts, because if he goes to play the way what we've only seen him play, he's going to have all these great performances versus these high-end teams. Correct?
Correct.
If he was to have all those great performances against those high-end teams,
why won't
it paves the path for these other quarterbacks, because, listen, we know this is a quarterback award, even though, frankly, it shouldn't be. It paves the path for these other quarterbacks who have easier schedules than Jalen Hurts.
Can I ask you a question? What has Jalen Hurts showed you to make you think that he won't be great this season?
What has he showed me to make me think he won't be great? It's not even about him being great, frankly.
But
he can be great, but if we're talking about the MVP, he has to be the best. He can't just be great. He has to be the best.
What has Jalen Hurts showed you to make you think he won't be the best?
First of all, he hasn't been the best. He wasn't the best player last season.
No, he wasn't.
He's not the reigning MVP. He's never been the best. I've never seen Jalen Hurts in his entire career, and that includes college, be the best. He's a great player.
Right.
I'm not trying to take anything away from what Jalen has done.
Yeah, you're not.
Puts me in a weird position where I become this.
No, you're not like belittling him. Of course.
He's great. There's greater.
Okay, so I'll ask you a couple questions. So, in relation, are you saying Patrick is the favorite? I would agree Patrick Mahomes is the favorite.
Yes.
Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs, when it comes to their wide receiver positions, okay, there's only two teams in the NFL that have less receptions by the receivers, receiving yards or receiving touchdowns by the receiver group. Green Bay Packers are one who's probably the youngest team in the NFL right now, and the Atlanta Falcons. So I understand Patrick is unbelievable and Andy Reid, but there is, at some point, like there's a lot of unproven weapons on the outside in Kansas City. So maybe that hinders them just a little bit in their performance. I don't think
Except
so.
that he just won an MVP off of losing Tyreek, losing
But he also had
losing
Juju. No, Miko was there last year, and
That's
Juju
what I'm
was there last
saying.
year.
And now he has to make up for them. I'm saying losing those guys, that ain't the same as losing Tyreek Hill. And I saw him win an MVP after losing Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill was Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill still looked like Tyreek even with Tua throwing him the football.
You seen him do what without Tyreek Hill?
Okay, relax, Haley. Again, you don't need to bring up the radio and bring the receipts, okay? This is a whole different thing that we're doing here on
Juju's a good
Thursday.
player. Juju Smith's a good player.
He's a good player. He's the number one target for
Right.
Mahomes last year. But also, so was Tyreek the season before, and Juju ain't Tyreek. So if he can deal with the loss of Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes would be
So
just
is
fine.
Patrick the only one you think is best, like, fit?
No, I
to
think
win?
Burrow. Burrow has the best receiver room in the entire NFL. I think the protection in front of Burrow with Orlando Brown Jr. just got upgraded immensely.
That's the best
I think
offensive
that
line he's had.
I think that line, that absolutely, it is the
But
best
it's not the best offensive line
protection.
in the National Football
Joe
League.
Burrow.
That's the Philadelphia Eagles.
I would say
They have
this. If Jalen plays 17 games this year, and 14 of them are like the performance he had in Kansas City or in the Super Bowl, he will win MVP.
But it's not just about also how Jalen plays, right? It's also about how these other guys play. And I just think that these other guys are in a better position. The only reason that I wouldn't give the nod to Mahomes is because of Mahomes fatigue, right? That's the only reason that I could see him missing
The
out
Jordan stuff, the
on
LeBron stuff.
And
I think there's 10 quarterbacks that can legitimately win MVP. 10, which is unbelievable.
I mean, there's names like
name them?
Herbert that could be thrown into that conversation.
There's
Lawrence
10
could be-
quarterbacks that
feels
can
like
win
a lot.
MVP. So Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Tua, Trevor Lawrence. Tua led the NFL in passing when he was healthy. So that's 10 easily that I would not be shocked. And we're not even, there's another name that I didn't even say that could absolutely be into that conversation. Those are 10 quarterbacks that would not surprise me at all if they win MVP.
But
your
I think to
team
your point,
has
though,
to be really good as well.
And
you're not winning MVP if you ball out and your team doesn't go the distance. So
but I think everybody's favorite would be Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's clear cut.
for the remainder of his career.
Exactly. But when I look at Jalen Hurts and I look at everything that he has returning offensively, we haven't even talked about Dallas Goedert, the tight end position yet. Like, and I understand when we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, we talk about their trio of wide receivers. But when you can throw Dallas Goedert in the mix when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and what Devontae Smith was able to do a season ago, the emergence of A.J. Brown, I won't say the emergence that Jalen Hurts had with A.J. Brown as his number one target. I just like what the Philadelphia Eagles is as a team, but offensively, especially Jalen Hurts, and he's not learning a new offense. He's doing the same thing.
It's a new coordinator.
Yes.
Jalen lost his coordinator because why? Because he was so good that he got a head coaching job, right? So that's a change for Jalen Hurts this season. Yes, offensively, they don't lose a lot of weapons. This Eagles team does defensively lose some key pieces there. Offensively, yes, they're able to retain those pieces, but the change there, the coordinator position, the change there in terms of expectations, the change there in terms of schedule, people are going to be coming for Jalen now. They've got the playbook.
How big of a deal is that? Because we
What,
got
the
a
loss
lot
of
of these
coordinator?
top quarterbacks that have new offensive coordinators, new play callers. Like in terms of adjustment.
I do not think it's a big deal. So when I call college football, I've sat with Brian Johnson, who is going to be their new offensive coordinator. I sat with him when he was at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Within 5-7 minutes, you go, yep, you are the walking definition of guy who is going to be a head coach in the NFL or a head coach at some level. I'd say this, like we had this conversation a little bit about like Jared Goff and the Rams, new offensive coordinator, Matt LaFleur leaves, and then, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Then Kevin O'Connell leaves. Both those guys are really successful head coaches in the NFL right now. So when organizations identify guys like that, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. He's not changing the offense, and everyone says he's a very bright mind. He's got to go do it, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Full disclosure, when we're in production meetings off season and the question comes up, who has the most to prove? I'm like, okay, I can't hear this question enough. But for this one, it does not feel mundane to me, and I find it highly interesting when we're looking at the Patriots, who you can never count out. And it feels like we don't know what they have, essentially, with Mac Jones, or even if he's truly their guy. Is he the quarterback with the most to prove in the AFC?
For me, no. I think it's Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is going to a new team. He's going to a new team, leaving Green Bay, going to the New York Jets, trying to do something that Brett Favre wasn't able to do, trying to do something for that organization that they haven't done since 1968, 1969. Make the playoffs since the first time since 2010. And you look at how the division has shifted since he's gotten there. Mm-hmm. I think that adds a lot of pressure. Now, Aaron Rodgers is a guy who's not worried about that. And when Aaron Rodgers can go toe-to-toe with a lot of these younger quarterbacks, I'm pretty sure that's not at the top of his mind. But when you talk about guys that, the most approve, he's expected to be the savior for the Jets, right? If he's able to take this team to the playoffs and win a championship, he will be treated like a god in New York City. So I think when you look at it from that standpoint, and a lot of people last season looking at that defense and how elite they were, saying that they're a quarterback away, that's why I'm choosing Aaron Rodgers over anybody else.
What happens if Aaron Rodgers doesn't do it? What happens if Aaron Rodgers doesn't win a championship in New York?
It would be a massive
doesn't even have. They would just
Exactly.
be disappointed. Does it take away the 4 NFL MVPs? Does it take away the Super Bowl that he won? Does it take away the Super Bowl MVP? Does it take away everything that we saw for all those years in Green Bay?
To him, it will.
Nothing happens.
But he also already has done a lot for the team, just all the hype he's brought and everything surrounding the Jets.
They didn't bring him in for the hype.
No,
they brought him in
to
win a Super Bowl.
You know what they're going to say?
What are you talking about?
You know what they're going to say if
They
Aaron
brought him
Rodgers?
in because he's proven. Guys.
You know what they're going to say if Aaron Rodgers doesn't do it? Brady did. Stafford did.
And what?
You didn't.
And what?
That
if he wins
matters
a
to those guys.
If he wins a championship in New York, Dan, is anybody saying Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady all time?
No, but
his legacy takes a different hit.
Yes.
Like in a massive way.
Aaron Rodgers in a better position with the Jets than Tom Brady was with the Bucs.
Ooh, great question. No, because that Bucs offensive line was better, and they played a lot of snaps together.
Yeah.
So that would be
weird.
different.
I thought the O-line in New York wasn't a problem.
I said I'm not concerned about it.
That's right.
I said I'm not. But that was a better offensive line unit.
But all of a sudden.
Is your answer Mac Jones?
No, I think that's the obvious answer. And I do think Mac Jones is under a lot of pressure. I actually would say Ryan Tannehill. So I think I would go off script here with Ryan Tannehill. I don't know a lot of people are realizing. You're talking about a Tennessee Titans team that has drafted now a quarterback and each of the last 2 drafts to try to replace Ryan Tannehill. He's in the final year at 34 years old.
Like a reach, Amber.
$36.6 million. Here's the thing. This is why I'm saying Ryan Tannehill. Because Ryan Tannehill's career as a starter in the NFL, if he gets benched this season, for Will Levis or Malik Willis, I could see being
I absolutely can sit up here and say, I don't think that's happening. Did you see what the Tennessee Titans looked like last year?
Yes,
when Ryan Tannehill did not play?
Right. So he kept his job because a lot of people thought they were going to try to move on from him this offseason because it became a movable contract. Ryan Tannehill saved his job last season with Malik not looking nearly as good as Ryan Tannehill, right? This season, he's going to have to do it again now with Will Levis breathing down his neck as well.
Last year.
Absolutely, but my point is, with Ryan Tannehill, he's on the hot seat every single season there in Tennessee. And if he loses his job in Tennessee, is he getting another starting job in the National Football League? Mac Jones is a lot younger.
All right.
You're talking
these answers, by the way, are wild
in your
right now.
season.
Aaron Rodgers with the most to prove in Ryan Tannehill. What do you have?
I'm bringing
what does
this
Aaron
back.
Rodgers have to prove compared to Ryan Tannehill?
To prove that he can take the Jets that everyone says is a quarterback away.
The man's already
to the
the
promised
greatest
land.
of his
That's what he has to
generation.
prove.
Stop
Heavenly
it.
Father, give me grace. All right, I'm bringing it back to the. Heck no, does Mac Jones have the most to prove? Not even stinking close. He's 4th in his division when it comes to the most to prove. Okay, number 1.
Took over for Tom Brady.
Number 1, he had a defensive coach calling plays last year.
Okay.
That was an embarrassment. Number 2, they have the worst skill group in their division. So to expect something that do not expect from me what you have not given me the ability to do. All right, Aaron Rodgers has the most pressure or the most to prove out of that division, and I think out of the conference. Second, Josh Allen does, and I love Josh. But Mac Jones has been set up in many ways in year 2 and 3, and I'm not going to say year 2 to fail. Absolutely, he was set up to fail last year, and I will not back off from that. I don't think he's set up to succeed this year at all.
Even with the new OC?
There's going to be an improvement. Bill O'Brien's a very good offensive mind.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a guy.
Number 1.
He don't have a number.
Yeah, he does not have the weapons.
We're talking about a guy in his
But
And
didn't
they
you
lack- they
feel like
lack
there were
team
a lot of
speed,
years
especially
that
from an
Tom
offensive
Brady
standpoint.
didn't have a number
Yeah,
one?
no, Rob Gronkowski stinks.
Okay, all right.
But
Tight-
at
Randy
wide
Moss.
receiver,
No,
at wide
first of
receiver
all,
position,
Randy Moss, they didn't
Molly's
even win the
right.
Super Bowl that year, so I don't
But
even
he's
want to
still-
hear that. There was a lot of times he made guys into stars, and you know that's
and
true.
he left Tampa. I mean, he left for Tampa because they wouldn't give him the weapons
Yeah,
for
come
him
on.
to age gracefully.
That
He
was
immediately
just-
goes
come
there.
on.
Let me say this about Tom Brady.
The
Wins the
Patriots
Super
were
Bowl.
so
Come on.
good at working the draft.
no,
Get
but I
outta here. It
understand,
wasn't like
you know-
he
elevated the talent around
He
him.
had
They're
two
not
tight
handed
ends,
the
though.
weapons.
He
Okay,
had-
yes, the
Great.
two tight
I know a lot of people
ends.
don't like
me
to
about the
mention. He
receiver
had
room.
Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski.
Best combo
Yeah.
we've seen in
Ever.
maybe
Okay.
ever as a one-team
Talk to me
combination.
about the receiver room.
He did it for like 20 years. He didn't have them the whole time.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.